and we are recording simultaneously on Facebook for publication, and we're also here on Instagram Live, and I'm talking here on the Facebook Live. So welcome everybody to ATG. My name is Dr. Alalade, and I'm talking about why IVF fails. So if you've been doing IVF before, you've had unfortunate incidences, things hasn't gone well, or if you've been trying to get pregnant for years, this is the time for you to listen to me and let's have a chat together. Okay, for tonight, let me be your doctor and please try and be the patient. I've been talking to people for a long time now, and by the grace of God, I've been doing gynecologist for almost 18 years, at least since 2002. I'll say effectively since 2004. So at least I have an idea, or a bit of an idea of what I'm talking about. So I'm hoping that tonight I'll be able to get across to you as it is in your current situation. And I'm praying that by God's grace, Almighty God's grace, I'll be able to, at least touch you at that point where you need a change in your life. With all due respect, what I've realized that from my own experience is that when people are going through infertility, they can be very, very depressed. Sometimes they can be very, very combative. Sometimes they can be talkative. Sometimes they'll be a bit impatient. Because first of all, trying to get pregnant in our society can be very, very stressful. People go through untold things from the hands of family, in-laws, and so on and so forth. Because they're trying to get pregnant, they go through untold hardship, difficulty, maltreatment, abuse from even women in their family, from women in their extended family, and sometimes they go into a spiral of depression, and it can make them act out, lash out, combative. And I've experienced this from many patients, and I'm still experiencing it. So it's not a new thing. Let me tell you something. I always tell people whenever they come to me regarding infertility, and after they've told me, narrated their whole story, I'm like, look, there's no unique experience. There's nothing that I've never heard of before regarding infertility. Yes, once in a while I hear some news stories, but everything comes back to the same basic. Basically, there's no unique problem. And everything that is a problem has a solution. There are specific reasons why IVF fails. Some we know, some we don't know. But there are also reasons why it works. And there are reasons why people get pregnant. So if you try to get pregnant and you're in ATG, you're following me, you are at the right place. You are at the right spot. People come in here all the time. In fact, I've known people here. I'm so close to people on ATG than I've ever been in my life. I've come to know many people, and it's also by coming to ATG to talk as well. Also has been a change. I've brought a change in my life, personally, professionally, even physically. I've learned a lot about how to deal with people, and sometimes too I've failed too. I'll confess I've failed too, but I've learned from my mistakes. For example, during a discussion I had with a lady 2 days ago, in fact, at that time, the lady was asking me that, what do you mean that there's no other alternative? What do you mean? How can you say there's no other alternative? And I was like, hold on. You just asked me a question. I'm trying to answer your question. Let me finish my discussion. Because when you were talking, I wasn't even interjecting you, but I'm talking now. Let me finish, because I think I'm still the doctor here. But if you want me to be the patient, I can be. I say that in a sarcastic way because when people go through infertility, sometimes they make you feel as if it's your fault. If you go into infertility now, I want to tell you something. It is not your fault. It is life. Whenever you're going through challenges, it is not your fault. It could be your fault that you've gotten to where you are, or it might not even be your fault. But how you deal with your situation, how you dig yourself out of that issue is up to you. Sometimes life deals with you a difficult hand. Life gives you difficulties that you don't even envisage. It turns a different corner you don't even know. So how you get here might be your fault, might not be your fault. But how you get out of here is entirely up to you. How you deal with the situation is entirely up to you. I can put 10 people in the same situation, in the same life experience, in the same difficult situation. Some people will come out clean. Some will come out okay. Some will come out bad. So therefore, For you to be among the people that come out clean and comfortable overcoming, there's a reason. There are some things you should do. There are some mental attitude dynamics you must have. If you're talking to a doctor, wherever the doctor might be, trying to encourage you, trying to give you some treatment options to get pregnant, to make your life different, try and listen. These people, they are human beings. They are going through difficult times too. Everybody has a difficulty. Everybody has a challenge one way or the other. It might not be as big as yours. It might not be as difficult as yours, or even you might think it's so trivial, but they are going through something. People hurt. Even your doctor hurts somehow. Some few years ago, I was narrating my experience here to people that I've been married before, and I have three children, two girls, one boy, and I look after them every month. I send money to them every month. Despite that fact, I can't even talk to them, and I had to start my life all over again at the age of 40-something. 2 years ago, remarried again and started again. While I was going through my difficult time, ATG was born. It was a very difficult time for me, for my family, for myself. And I'm not blaming anybody, whether my ex-wife, I'm not blaming anybody, but I take responsibility for everything I'm going through. So if you're going through infertility and you've been told to do some certain tests, people come back to me and they say they can't do that test, or they will start giving you reasons why they can't do the test, as if they are the doctor. And you start to begin to wonder, and this person is trying to get pregnant, yet they come to you and they'll give you reasons why they won't do a test. You tell men to do semen analysis test, they come combative as if you're trying them to go and pick up fire from the bush. You tell someone to do some fertility test, say they've done it 4 years ago, they can't do it again. But the human body is not the same. So if I don't know what is going on in your body, how do I address your situation to make you pregnant? I tell people all the time, I'm not a magician. At least I'm not yet a magician. The reason why IVF fails, number one, is that people do not listen. That's the first thing I'm trying to drive out to this night. People don't listen. People don't listen. And over the last 7 years, I've accumulated stories and personal stories of people trying to get pregnant, and I can see what people go through. In life, to get something out of life, you must first of all have a question. And not only that question, desire something. Desire is the beginning of something. So you listen to me today, you want to get pregnant, you have that desire to get pregnant. After you've had that desire, it's a dream onto that stage. To make your desire, your dream, come to reality, so that your desire and your dream will not become a nightmare, you have to take consistent actions and steps to get pregnant. So people come, number two, do investigations. Okay, they've now taken that step from desire. They've done the investigations, and you can see that there are some issues why they can't get pregnant. For example, the egg reserve is low. For example, they're not ovulating anymore. For example, the tubes are blocked. Okay, we know the reason. The tubes are blocked. Okay, patient comes, I want to unblock the tubes. I do tubation. You already know that it doesn't work in most cases. Only success rate is 1 in 4. It might not work, but you want to give it a try. Makes sense, that's fine, go for it. But if it doesn't work, the next line of action will be to consider IVF. People say no. IVF is expensive. It's about 1.1 million, close to 1.5 million. I'm not going to do that. I want to try on my own. There's nothing God can't do. I've seen people get pregnant while they're trying to do IVF. I've seen people who've done 2 IVF before it fails. They tried naturally, the third time they got pregnant on their own. And I'm sure you know the story. There are so many stories like this all over the world. It's not new. But if we know the tubes are blocked, yes, there's nothing God can do. But I'm not a pastor. I'm a scientist. I tell you what I see physically. Yeah, you might see something else metaphysically. That's true. But I will tell you what I see. If I say your tubes are blocked, let's unblock it, flush it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, it's not working. Let's go for IVF. You say no. There's nothing wrong with that. But it becomes wrong if you try to be combative and make it feel as if the doctor is not trying to help you. I've seen people, number 3, they register an ATG diamond service and you ask them for certain tests, they run away. They go away. They now come back 2 weeks to the expiration of their contract after a year. And they now say they want to start talking. Before you say 1, 2, 3, it's already this end of the second week. It's expired. You get angry. But I've not used the service before now. I've only asked question for only 1 week. It's over a year. What do you mean it's expired? Okay, so they now say, oh, I've only talked to you about only twice or for 1 week out of the 1 year, so it should not expire. But we can't keep anything open for life. If you've not talked to me since the very first week you paid, that means you're not serious about it. Number 4, people only remember that they want to get pregnant when they go to occasions. It's when they go to parties, when they go to church, when they are doing birthday ceremonies. That's when they now remember, I'm not yet pregnant. Yay! My sister and so friend is pregnant. He has a twin, he has a baby. What of me? They now buzz the doctor. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you buzz me, I say, send me your test. They now run away again. It's not yet my day 21. They now run away again. You come back after about 6 months again. What's happening? How I will know that you're not serious, because you're telling life you're not serious. If you want to get pregnant, if you want something from life, the same principle, we need to take consistent steps. Okay, you've gone for the IVF. They've given you medications to take. Inject yourself. You refuse. You're scared. Okay, teach your husband to inject you. They taught your husband. You still don't take the medications. How are you going to ovulate? Now you've done everything. For God to act on your situation, you should do your part. You can't expect God to do his own part when you haven't done your own part. It's not possible now. God does not deceive. It's the same principle all over the world. It's a universal principle. If you do your part, God will step in. And when God steps in, he does not fail, or she does not fail. I don't know whether God is a man or woman. It's not my business. Basically, God does not fail. But people don't want to do their part, but they don't want God to fail. But you are failing. Don't you know that even you yourself, you are God? So take that action today. Okay, now, let's now go to the nitty-gritty of why IVF fail. I'm not trying to get people to watch and understand these things now. Now, why does IVF fail? Number 1 reason why IVF fails. You have an infection. Usually, whenever we're trying to transfer the egg, the fertilized egg, through that catheter into your womb cavity, sometimes if there's a mucus, discharge, infection in vagina, those proteins there, they can denature or they can affect the transferred egg. Or maybe you have an infection, PID, in your womb cavity, or there's fluid collection in your womb cavity, they can affect implantation and make it fail. Sometimes when trying to introduce the catheter, maybe care is not taken because it's a slow process, gentle process. Anything that could cause bleeding in your womb cavity would affect and can disturb or disrupt implantation. Okay? Sometimes too, during the transfer, for some reason, people that have severe endometriosis or they have endometriotic cysts on their ovary, for some reasons we don't know, but conclusively from statistics, it says that people that have endometriotic cysts or endometriosis on their ovary, they have an increased risk of failure of IVF. So if you have endometriosis, get it sorted. Once you get pregnant, okay, after IVF, okay, they will give you some certain medications, like there's some progesterone injection or cyclogest pessary. These are progesterone support. You should take them. Don't argue. Somebody came to me today. She's got pregnant. She went to the East for pregnancy, IVF. She got pregnant. They've been given progesterone to use in form of cyclogest. They didn't use it. There's nothing wrong in believing in God. I'm a Christian, but I believe in God. I don't hate Christian. I don't hate Muslim. I don't even hate people that don't have any religion. I believe everybody believes in God, whether we like it or one way or the other. Let trouble come, people will shout out to God. So what I'm trying to say is that the fact that you believe in God does not say that you should not do the things you're supposed to do or to do the right thing at the right time. In fact, God hates people that are lazy, that they don't do what they're supposed to do. Now, with all due respect, if you've been given things to use them. Don't try and find out the reason of if I don't use it, Don't wait for the encore. Just use it as it is. There's a reason why you're given. Don't tempt God. Don't tempt man. People don't use medication. They now come back after a while. Is miscarried. What can she do? Listen. Another reason is that some people, they're given aspirin to use. Aspirin also makes the blood thin, but also increases success rate of implantation. If you've been given aspirin because you need aspirin during your IVF, you should just take them. Or if you've been given Clexane injection to use during your IVF, please just take them. There's a reason why the doctor gave them to you in the first instance, to increase your chances of success of IVF. IVF is too expensive. Like, I know, because it was until ATG opened our own IVF center, I could see the cost of the medications, and I could see why IVF is expensive and excruciatingly painful for couples to do. And I can feel people's pain now, because I know what it is to buy the IVF medications. In fact, whenever the pharmacist gives me their bill, I'm always like, what is this? But I've come to accept it that it's part of the things we have to do to make people happy. IVF is not cheap. So if you've been given advice to use 1, 2, 3 things, use them as you've been advised. Don't wait to see the eventuality. Don't wait to see something go amiss. Don't wait to see something go pear-shaped before you decide to do the right thing. It's painful. A bird in hand is worth 3 or 40 in the bush. Now, number 2 or number 3 or number 4 reason why IVF fails is this. Hold on, let me drink my cup of warm tea. Don't worry, guys, we're still going to take questions shortly, okay? Sometimes why IVF fails, there are things that we can't prevent. I'll talk about this. Now, sometimes, genes, they have to mix. They have to reassort themselves and form a new human being. There can be anything, and anything can go wrong in the gene engineering, processing, splicing, splitting, rearrangement, reassortment. And this can cause genetic anomalies, and the nature decides that, okay, this can't continue, go back. Usually, before we transfer the embryo back into you in the IVF room, in the IVF center, there's a way we check the embryo to see if they're matured enough and they've shown that characteristics of what we desire that would implant and be successfully and become a successful pregnancy. If we don't see these things, we don't go ahead. So we look for these special characteristics from cells, special characteristics from this cells division to suggest that yes, this thing will be and work well. Before they transfer egg to you, try and ask questions. If you don't ask questions, the right questions, politely, sensitive, with all sensitivity, you might get the bad end of the stick. Ask questions to the doctor, but don't do it in an angry way or in a suspicious way or in a way that will make the doctor or the nurses feel uncomfortable. Just ask them, before they do the transfer, are the eggs showing signs that they will implant, they'll be successful? Ask questions. And sometimes they might even tell you, maybe, okay, we've seen this, but we think this will be the best thing to do. Then you understand the treatment plan. At least they'll carry you along. And it's always important, God forbid, if your IVF does not go according to plan, it's always important and expedient that you sit down at some point. I know the trauma of the loss could be painful, but you sit down with the doctor or the nurses or the counselors as soon as possible to discuss with them what might have happened. People come to me after about 6 months when IVF has failed. Doctor, they just registered for the first time with me and they've done IVF a year ago, 6 months ago. They now come to the question, I want to know why my IVF failed. First of all, don't forget that I'm a human being. I'm not Holy Ghost. I'm a doctor. You haven't given me the results. Why you did IVF in the first instance. You haven't given me a summary of what happened in the IVF. The next thing you're going to ask me is that why did the IVF fail? On top of my head, two things will be in my head. It's either I don't have the answer, or I'll give you 10 reasons why IVF might have failed, like I'm saying now. And you'll not be the more wiser because you still can't pick up why. So to know why your IVF failed, it's always good to arrange another appointment with the doctor. Maybe 4, 5, 6 weeks, for example, post the IVF failure. The doctor can sit you down, and don't go on your own. Go with your husband or your spouse or your partner so we can sit down. 2 heads are better than 1. Some things they are telling you, you will not pick. Some things they are telling him, you will not pick. You will pick, he will pick, vice versa. You can get home, it is better. It makes more tangible sense. So don't go on your own, and go at your own comfortable time when you think you're emotionally fit to understand what might have gone wrong and what can be done to increase or improve the chances of success in future. It's also very important, for example, if you're going to use ICSI or a sperm donor, that we know the characteristics of the sperm being transferred, that ensure that they are very healthy, that we don't transfer any weak sperm, because these things too can cause or increase the risk of failure too. The next question is, okay, doctor, I have fibroid. I've been told I have fibroid, about 4 or 5 centimeters. Should I remove that fibroid before going for IVF? Would my fibroid cause me to fail IVF? Hold on, I'll talk about that now. So, I have a lady. In fact, it's not the first time. People have the same question, because I said at the beginning of this lecture that there's no unique problem. The only thing amongst problems is how you solve a problem. If someone tell you that, oh, this problem is new, I've never seen it before, yeah, why me? Sit down. There's nothing called why me. I still remember when I was going through my difficult times. We all have challenges, like I said at the beginning. So I always tell myself, why me? Why am I going through all this? Why me? Why me? Why am I having a broken home? Why me? Something that told me on that day on the plane that, why not you? Who the heck are you? Why not you? Since that day, I changed my narrative and my ideology that, what's the big deal? Until you face a battle, you are not worthy to be called a general. You're a baby. So there's nothing wrong in what you're going through. There's nothing wrong. Go. If you cry, it's okay, but your cry will not change anything. They don't listen to cry in heaven. Only the thing that works in heaven is faith and action. Faith in God and action. Those are the only 2 currencies that are accepted or acceptable in heaven. And to bring heaven to earth, you need to have faith and you need to do. Crying does not change anything. Crying is okay to let out the negative energy. It's okay. As a grown man, one day I sat down in America. I parked my car, and I cried. Well, and I took water from my trunk, my boot, and I washed my face, and I continued my journey. I was going through pain. There's nothing wrong in crying, but there's something wrong if you cry and you don't want to move, and you want to still dwell and let people be attracted to you by self-actualization or self-dramatization that you are going through something, so that they can come and share your body, or they can see you and pity you. That is not good. That is a waste of time, and that is a mockery of God, a mockery of your self-capabilities and the things you can do. There's nothing wrong in crying if IVF failed. There's nothing wrong in crying if you can't get a child. But there's something wrong in not wanting to do something to get where you are. And if you've done something before, it hasn't worked out, don't stop. Don't say, doctor, you're talking your own. You don't even know what I'm going through. I've done 4 IVF. What are you talking about? You don't even know me. My sister. They don't record failure. No matter how much you fail, they don't record it. It's the day you pass. That is the day they'll reckon that you've passed. And it does not matter how many times you fail before. The day you pass, your failure are wiped away. That exam you've been doing 6 times, 7 times. You now did it the 8th time, you now pass. Do you think they remember the 7th time you failed? What they call you that you've passed. Case closed. It does not matter how many times you failed. It's the day you pass. And that day you pass is today. Today is your day of salvation. Trust me, if you're going through these things today, I'm not trying to say that I don't understand your pain. I'm not trying to say that, because I'm not in your shoe. There's no way I can ever be in anybody's shoes. If anybody's saying that, because they're not in that shoe, you can never be in anybody's shoes, and nobody can ever be in your shoe. Just take it from me. There's no way you can be in anybody's shoes, and there's no way anybody can be in your shoe. You can only wear your shoe at your own time, in your own time, in your own pace. But my prayer today is that shoe you're wearing, wherever that shoe is hurting you, God will put oil to suit the edges. God will put socks there so you make your shoe easy to walk in, and you can change your shoe as soon as possible. That is my prayer, that whatever that shoe is, long, short, thin, fat, or swollen, God will put oil to suit your body. God will put oil to suit your pain. God will wipe out your tear. God will turn your darkness into light. God will turn your pain to gain. God will turn your sweat to sweet today. Now, You're going through infertility. You've spoken to me before. You're listening to me today. Have you done any infertility test? Your FSH, your LH hormone, your D21 progesterone, if you're having regular period, your AMH to know your egg reserve. As a man, have you done your sperm count at least? Have you done your HSG before as a woman? What are you wasting your time for? Have you checked your rubella? Okay. Are you even having regular intercourse? Most people, 80% of people listening to me today, having infertility, they don't have regular sex. They are waiting to time their sex to know when they can have sex to get pregnant or to get a particular gender. Most people talking to me don't have regular sex. 80% of people I talk to in ATG trying to get pregnant, after they've had regular sex for about 2 to 3 months, they get pregnant and they go away. Most cases, people don't have regular sex. And I understand people are going through challenges. Sometimes you could be far away from your husband, husband could be far away from you, you're living in different towns, economic situation. It's happened to me before. I understand. Sometimes it's because maybe issues, you have family issues, stressful time, you can't have one-to-one time as planned. Yes, these things do happen. Yes, these things do happen painfully. But I tell you something, no matter where your friend lives, even if he or she's in Japan and you're in Nigeria, you will find a way of going there, or they'll find a way of coming to you. If you want something done, you'll find a way. Wherever there's that way, there'll be a way. You create that way. Except you don't want to, then you forget about it. But if you genuinely want to do something, you'll find a way. And that way, nobody can find it for you. You can only find it yourself. Today, I was putting a post on ATG and somebody asked me, what investment opportunity or investment idea do you recommend? Do you know my answer to that person? I'll tell you now. My answer was, I do not recommend any investment opportunity. I will advise you to think about something and put your ideas into creation. If you're waiting for anybody to give you a particular investment idea, until you make it your own idea and you internalize it and you subconsciously work on it, it will never be realized. So I don't give people investment ideas. I only share ideas with them. I don't say, go and do this, go and do that. In ATG, if you come to me as I'm a doctor in ATG, I will tell you what to do. I'll suggest to you the things you should do. It's now left for you to do them. People in ATG, they've registered for platinum service, diamond service. I say go and do a particular thing because I've not told them to go and mash something, some leaf to some leaf. They won't do. But if I ATG now, if I tell you, everybody listen to me now that go and get this particular leaf tomorrow morning, get this particular concoction, pound it together, and say one prayer to it, and you use a get prayer, people will do it now. But they'll do it. They know it won't work. But if I say you've done all your tests, everything is normal, have regular sex, you won't do. A lady came to me today in January. I won't mention her name. She lives in Agege area. A lovely, wonderful lady from the East. And she was crying at the time on the phone to me that they want to chase me out. My sister-in-law is beating me, blah, 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 blah. I'm tired. You're not helping me. I'm like, my sister, listen to me. After she cried, I explained to her what she should do. Get pre-seed, do this, do that. Because all your tests, they are all okay. You don't need Clomid. Okay. She now did the things I told her to do. She got pregnant in March. She didn't even see anything. So I'm like, I have not even heard from this woman. No. Lo and behold, that afternoon, she texted me after about 6 months, around June. I'm like, where are you? How are you? Say, doctor, I'm pregnant too. I'm 6 months pregnant too. I'm like, thank God, congratulations. So this lady obviously took my advice. She went away. She followed it. And I asked her, so how did you get pregnant? She said she followed my advice. Now, I'm not saying I'm God. I'm a human being like you. But for some reason, I've been opportuned by God's grace to see a lot of people go through similar circumstances. I've been given that grace to see different people at different points in time going through this your same experience. And I've heard the same story countless times, and I've been able to understand, synthesize, and be able to offer help because I've been through a similar journey before too. And when I tell you things to do, I say it from my heart, not because of what I want or in spite of anything. I say these things from my heart to you, brothers and sisters. It's painful, okay, when you're talking to a patient and all of a sudden they become combative and they will reject to listen to your advice. So I just sit down and I take the position of a patient because that person is trying to be the doctor. No big deal, okay? I'm the one trying to help by the grace of God. I would love you to listen, to follow, because people that follow my advice in most cases by the grace of God, and not me, by God's grace, they do get pregnant. And the things I know, I share them here on ATG all the time freely. Because freely we were given, freely do we receive, and freely we must give. Okay? So we do this all the time here. So back to that point of a lady with a fibroid, 4 centimeter, 5 centimeter fibroid, asking the question, should I remove the fibroid before going for infertility? Let me tell you something. Fibroids can affect infertility. Fibroids cannot affect infertility. It depends on their position. It depends on their size. It depends on where they are located in the womb. Fibroid, like I always say, let us use our board now because we have this white board. Let us use this board now. Okay, let's twist. Now, you can see me on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. Good. Let us use this board. So, you always see me draw the womb like this all the time. I draw the womb. This is your tube. This is your tube. This is the womb again. This is cervix. This is the womb here. Okay, and this is the womb, and this is the wall of the womb. Okay, and this is the womb. This is the wall of the womb. Okay. Okay. So now we have the womb on the board there. You can see me on YouTube. You can see me on Instagram and on Facebook. Oh, geez. Everybody welcome. Sorry, I've not welcomed anybody on this discussion. I've been talking. So if you're just coming, you're just joining, welcome. Good evening, guys. God bless you. Fibroids can be in three different locations, okay? Fibroids can be outside your womb, okay? Fibroids can be within the cavity of the womb, like this. Okay? And fibroids can be in the wall of the womb, like this, okay? So you can see that fibroids can be in 3 different locations. Sometimes too, fibroids can be on the cervix like that too. Cervical fibroid, or it can even be there. Cervical fibroid, okay? But it's very rare though. Now, imagine a pregnancy implant. This is blue for baby. A pregnancy implant somewhere here, or placenta implant somewhere here, where this fibroid is here. It's obviously going to miscarry because the placenta cannot attach well to the wall of the womb. So basically, if you look at it with all common sense, fibroids that are in the cavity of the womb can affect placenta implantation, can cause miscarriage, can cause infertility. Okay? Is it making sense now? Fibroids in the cervix here can disturb the cervix opening during labor, but it don't cause infertility, and it won't block the entrance of sperm into the womb at all. Okay? So fibroids affecting infertility depends. So I had to, a lady asked me a question at some point last week. Oh, I've got fibroids. It's 4 centimeters. Is it going to cause infertility? Is it going to stop me from getting pregnant? I'm like, the fibroid you have is, you have about 2 or 3 for that particular lady. And this is same thing for most people. Okay? Fibroid is outside the womb. Another one is in the womb cavity. I said, look, try and remove the one in the womb cavity. Now, the fibroids in the womb cavity, you can only remove them through hysteroscopy. There's no other magic. The only way you can approach fibroid in the womb cavity is through hysteroscopy. The ones outside, they rarely cause issues with getting pregnant, but you can take them out through opening the womb, incision on your tummy or keyhole surgery on your tummy. But the ones in the womb cavity, inside the womb cavity like this, it can only be removed through a camera, hysteroscopy, that goes in from your cervix into your womb cavity to remove them. That's the only way. So I tell them, you have to remove that one through hysteroscopy. They get combative again. What do you mean by hysteroscopy? What is that one again? I have to scan and spend money. I know. But the fibroid is not my, it's not my making. It's what we found. And it has to be dealt with. If we don't take it out, it probably lead to miscarriage. I'm sorry that I'm possibly coming out harsh today. It's just because that sometimes if we don't hit the nail on the head, sometimes we might not convey the message rightly. I don't know who I'm speaking to today. I don't know if my talk is touching you today. My prayer is that it will change someone's story and change someone's life and turn your family situation around positively. If today my talk is changing your life, it's touching your soul, it's touching your spirit, my desire is that it changes your life and gives your life a positive meaning. That's all. Nothing else do I want from you on that basis. So the way we can remove fibroids. So if you're going for IVF and your fibroid is in the womb cavity, so we call it submucous fibroid, it has to come out. Forget it. If it's fibroid outside the womb, what we call subserous, we can leave it alone. But since we're going to take out the one inside the womb cavity, I'll suggest we take the other one, that other one out too, because it's usually the same idea. So fibroids that are in the womb cavity should be expelled, taken out prior to IVF, if you've had IVF, especially if you've had IVF before and it has failed. If you've had 1 or 2 IVF before and it has failed, before you go for the third IVF, please go and do hysteroscopy. Let us put a camera into your womb cavity to check your womb cavity to see, is there something that is missing? Is there something that we didn't see on scan? Is there something that is causing these miscarriages? Is there a scar tissue inside your womb cavity? Is there a fibroid there, a polyp there, or something that must be dealt with before the third attempt? If you've had 2, or even if you've had 1 failed IVF, before going for the second one or third one, please get hysteroscopy done as soon as possible to look into your womb cavity. And thank God now, we have a hysteroscopy machine available at the ATG IVF Center. If you want to get hysteroscopy done there, call the lab manager tomorrow morning, put your name down, and once we have an appointment, she will let you know and they will bring you in. Once you pay for the hysteroscopy test, we'll not have a time slot immediately anyway, because we have to pile cases together and get them all done in one single day in the office. So you make a payment, maybe have a deposit for the cost of hysteroscopy, it's about 280,000 naira, and then we'll give you a time when to come. Within the next 1 to 2 weeks, we'll let you know the time to come in for hysteroscopy. If you've had 1 IVF done, it's failed, 2 IVF done, failed, you must do or consider doing hysteroscopy before the next attempt at IVF to know why it is failing. Hysteroscopy will give you more detail, to give you more answers to why your IVF has failed or is failing. Now, I'm exhausted now. I need to go and get rest for tomorrow by God's grace. God keep us safe. So if tonight I sounded harsh, please forgive me. I'm trying to change someone's life. If tonight I've spoken to you directly, I don't know who you are. I love you. And it's just because of the love I have for you that I'm coming out this way. If tonight I've made an impression for you to take that step, man or woman, to change your story, to change your family, I'm doing this out of love for nothing, just for love, to make sure, because my dream all the time is that, and that's why we started ATG, and that's why I started ATG in 2015 November, to give people opportunity to express themselves, get answers to their fertility problems. And you can see, if you've been in ATG for a long time, we have come a long way. We have evolved. People have come, people have gone, good and bad. But yet, God's foundation standeth ever sure. People have said, but they prophesied that ATG will fall. They said that 2 years ago. They said that 3 years ago. Even somebody said it in ATG last year, that ATG will fall. And to God be the glory. What God has put on ground does not fail. My dream is that ATG will live beyond me. My dream is that other stuff like this that are doing what we are doing will spring up on the internet and do the same thing even better than what we are doing. My dream is that we'll be trailblazers in ATG, and you are part of that dream. So that once I meet you in the airport, one day I meet you in the plane, one day I meet you in Ghana, one day I meet you in Lagos, one day I meet you in Agege, one day I meet you in Abuja or Parakot or Owerri or in Kano, and you say, I know Dr. Alalade. That is my prayer, that that will change people's story. One day I went for my dad's burial. I came back to Europe through Dublin, and one young man, lovely man, he said, "Are you doctor on Facebook?" I smiled. He said, "My wife follows you." And that man knows me. I won't mention his name. I won't mention the wife's name. I was excited. I took a picture with him. I put it on my Facebook page. That day, I was so happy. That day, I was thrilled. That day, I was so joyful that one way or the other, we are making an impact, and we are doing so consistently. And people that thought ATG would fall, I'm sure today you've changed your mind, because the best thing your enemy can do for you is to give you publicity. Thank you. But for you that I love, for you that love us, for you that love yourself, here is your home. ATG is your home. ATG is here to stay, and ATG will put to shame people that think God can't do what God will do. Because what God can do, no man can do. So I believe today is your day. The things you've heard, please let them fall on fertile ground in your fertile soul, and let them bring forth and spring forth positivity, change, life experiences that would matter and will make the world a better place. God bless you, and good night, and have a wonderful week ahead as well. I love you so much. I love you so much, guys. I love you so much. And I want to say with all my heart, I love you. Before I go, I'll quickly mention names that I've been watching here. I can see Moshe Bolaton 14 on Instagram, Bolatito Ogundion, Oyizi Classics, Enos Finest, Cable 50, Lady Marama, Lady Empire, Ebony Rukaya, Elena Collections 2, Shola, Don Matafuwa, Ebere Ezako, Lady Marama, Bola Deniji, Testy Lufe, Jennifer Osula 01, Oyizi Classics. Thank you guys on Instagram. And on Facebook here, we have many names. Anyway, I'll mention few. I can't get all the names, trust me. Sheila Phillips, Ajara Iza Zuber, Christina Ladumoye Idowu, Stephanie Hassan, Adedokun Adekpeju, my wonderful sister. Where have you been? I miss you so much. I hope to see you soon. Happiness Nam, Joy Udo, Iyi Jerika, Imafidon, Adewara, Abosedewo Labi, wonderful lady. Thank you guys. Rose Ojoma Abalaka, Sheila Phillips. I'm trying to see names. Everything is going so fast. Guys, don't log out yet before I mention your name. Don't log out before I mention your name. Oloni Saye Abujetoyin, Zizi Chinwe Aaron, Ovo Ikelomo, Doris Joy Akpereshi. Thank you, Doris. Loretta Nwafo, Zizi. So guys, don't go yet. Please, if you're here, give me some thumbs up. Let me mention your name before you go. Don't go yet. Hold on. Wait a minute. Don't go yet. Let me mention your name before you go. Aristakos Naman Nantewe, Barista Naoche Kelechi, Oju Obiokoye, Nwodika, Temitope Akimbo Bola Olaimoye, I think. I know that name very well. Joy Udo Ihie Jerika Imafidon. Thank you guys. Thank you. Love you, sister. God bless you. Jennifer George Iyenuku, Amanda Fee. Thank you. Sheila Phillips, I see your name again. Wonderful lady. You're always here on time. Okay. Temitope Akinsoya. Thank you, my sister. You're blessed. Thank you so much. Jane Anthony, Emmanuel, Onozefe, Rosaline Salami, Amadi Vivian, Michelle Erigwem, Egbedadia, Ebe Ochibe, Jessica Ungozi, Ayikak Williams, Flora Wilson, Yetunde Victoria Aremu Olorun something, Kafula Elizabeth Bwala, Faith Osada Gbonyi, Joy Imafidon, Ellen Aburime, Temitope Akinsoya, Oluwabumi Abiodun, Oladoyin Olatubosun Kayode, Ederin Eremasi, Omolara Afolabi Akinlade, Ebi Ochibe, Oluwaseun Saliwe, Iku Ejewa, Ojialo Oluchukwu, Igwe Biwike Ifenyewa, Aduke Babsfayemi, Obi Ogechi, Chiamaka Nwachukwu, Comfort Warfare, Ikpeme, Jessica Ngozi Anyakak Williams, Itodo Modesta, Esther Mlanga Mbao, Barrister Naochie Kelechi, thank you, love you so. Edeni Emasi, love you, my sister. Anolika Agbasielo Onye Hilam, Candy Clark, thank you so much, Candy. Comfort something, Sotonye Awadiowa, Ebi Ochibe, Okay, so Shotonye Awajiowa. Thank you guys. Hope to see you soon. Love you so much. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.